All right, welcome, welcome. All are welcome. Come on in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Applause. My name is Greg Perret, and I'll be your host tonight. Applause is brought to you by the California Jazz Foundation. It's a nonprofit that assists California jazz musicians who have fallen on rough times. Now, we get started, I want to give you a heads up that the California Jazz Foundation is having its annual gala called Give the Band a Hand, and this will be presented as a virtual event. We'll be honoring Tim Jackson, the artistic director and founder of the Monterey Jazz Festival, as well as the great composer and arranger Horace Silver. Please save the date, which will be Sunday, June the 6th at 6 p.m. For more information, call 818-261-0057 or go to our website at californiajazzfoundation.org. All right, so the music tonight will be by the Clayton Cameron Quartet. Clayton is an old and dear friend, and he will be providing the music tonight, and he assembled this fantastic group of artists. The artists include Paul Cornish on piano, Johnny Valentino on guitar, Amit Turkmenoglu on bass, with special guest vocalist Sophia James. Their resumes are off the hook, but I'm not going to go into resumes. Applause is about getting to know the people, and it's getting to know the people and not the resumes. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to my dear friend Clayton Cameron, and he can give you more of a background on our artists tonight. Clayton, you got it.
Hey, thank you, Greg, and thank you, California Jazz Foundation. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It is my honor, it's my pleasure to have these wonderful musicians, these artists with me tonight. On piano, I have Mr. Paul Cornish. I have on guitar, Mr. Johnny Valentino. And on bass, holding down the bottom, Mr. I'll crack myself up, Mr. Amit Turkmenoglu. We have a very, very special artist coming in, a vocalist by the name of Sophia James, and we'll be bringing her on in about 2 songs. So we're gonna get started here doing a tune by Stevie Wonder, arranged by Herbie Hancock. You can't go wrong with those 2 people, right? All right. All right. Yeah, so that was You Got It Bad, Girl by Stevie Wonder, which was done at a much slower tempo than Stevie did it. But anyway, that was Herbie Hancock's arrangement of that. Now we're going to do a tune called that actually Johnny Valentino and I, we worked on our basically a COVID project when we're all can't go anywhere. So in each of our respective studios, we started recording a record. And so this particular tune is called Tough Times. And it's a tune that Johnny wrote for our upcoming record with a group we call Collective Thinking. And so this tune is called Tough Times.
Lovely tune. Lovely tune.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I'm glad that we're starting to get through the tough times. So we can write some other kind of music.
Oh, it's a nice tune.
Yeah, great. Johnny Valentino. Great job. So I'm a professor over at UCLA, and I've met, can't say I met Paul at UCLA. I think I might have done a gig with Darren Dean with Paul before I met you at, before we ran into each other again at UCLA, where Paul was within the Thelonious Monk Institute, now the Herbie Hancock Institute, and which he's graduated from. So I'm so happy to have, Paul here, as just one of those young up-and-coming stars. It's just it's a pleasure to have him. Now I have another fabulous UCLA Bruin coming up. Her name is Sophia James, and I'm not gonna say anything else, but come on up, Sophia, so we can do your tune.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Can you tell me a little bit about this tune and the title?
Yeah, sure. So we're about to play "Rivers on My Record Player," which is a song that I've yet to release. It's a song of frustration about an ex-lover who I cut ties with, thinking that everything was cool, civil, everything was really awesome and chill, and we were good pals. But the thing about dating musicians is that sometimes they write songs about you. And after we cut ties, it's exactly what he did. And I thought, whoa, that came out of nowhere. So I wrote one back, and it goes like this. The story is this. Some time ago, you told me don't say goodbye. My heart was true, I promised you that I would try. We didn't know that life would go and pass us by. So I did it wrong, I moved along, I simplified. You told me you weren't gonna cry for you and me. Said our time together wasn't oceans deep. But now there's rivers rushing down my record player. There you go, writing songs about what I said. You told me when I left you didn't care. But now there's rivers rushing down my record player. Some time had passed, I called and asked how you'd been. You answered slow, you didn't know where to begin. And I thought that I'd apologize for all I did. You swore to God you hadn't thought about me since. Oh, you told me you would never cry for you and me, because your heart is made of silicone and steel. Now there's rivers rushing down my record player. There you go, writing songs about all I said. You told me when I left you didn't care, but now there's a rivers rushing down my record player. Now I don't wanna be the one tearing you apart inside your head. You don't want to start a hurricane with words you thought were better left unsaid. Joni was right, all our songs are like tattoos. 'Cause now there's rivers, oh yeah, now you go, writing songs about all I said. Told me when I left you would never, ever, ever care. But now there's rivers rushing down my record player. Rivers rushing down, there's rivers rushing down. On my record player, on my record player, on my record player. Doo-ba-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-ba-doo-doo, da-da-ba-doo, da-ba-doo.
Nice. Hey, Sophia.
Hey.
Sophia, did you?
Sorry, Greg, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, did you get any feedback from your lyrics?
You know, I will never admit who it's about, or you know, you didn't hear anything, by the way. I didn't tell you any story.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, these are personal songs, so you know you just have to figure it out in the lyric. We're going to do another song, Sophia. What's the name of the next one?
Sure. Yeah, the next tune is Somebody New, and this one is I released it on Spotify this past September, I believe, and it will be featured on my upcoming EP. So I'm very excited about that. And this is another just kind of heartbreak song, because that's really all I write these days. You know, it's all that anybody writes. Am I right? Quarantine. All right. It's hard to watch you fall in love with somebody new. I know that it's all for the better, but you can't help forgetting all the good things that we shared and the feeling that you cared, as if anyone could care for me. It's hard to watch you fall in love with somebody new. I guess that sooner or later you'd have to, but it's turning me a different shade of blue. I kept thinking later down the road it'll hurt me. That's a bridge I'll have to cross when I arrive. What a fool I was to not have seen it coming, then to see it happen right before my eyes. It's hard to watch you fall in love with somebody new and be reminded that I wasn't good for you. But I know that you will find it all in her, and I know that it's a love I don't deserve. Still, it's hard to watch you fall in love with somebody new. Thinking later down the road it'll hurt me. That's a bridge I'll have to cross when I arrive. What a fool I was to not have seen it coming, than to see it happen right before my eyes. Oh, it's hard to watch you fall in love with somebody new and be reminded that I wasn't good for you. But I know that you will find it all in her, and I know that it's a love I don't deserve. Still, it's hard to watch you fall in love with somebody new. Somebody new.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great tune, Sophia. Great tune. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit. I sent Sophia a video of something I had done years ago with the fabulous Tony Bennett. It was on a Carol Burnett show, and it was just the two of us. It was just Tony and me. So Sophia and I are gonna start this next tune out together, and I think you'll recognize it. And that vocalist was Tony Bennett, by the way. I think I said that. All right.
They don't need to be unmuted. Is something wrong with their?
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop. Wait. Can you use your microphone?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a tune that I wrote called "The Brushman Sweep." It has nothing to do with Tony Bennett. The last tune we're gonna do has something to do with Tony. But anyway, so this is a tune like I wrote called "The Brushman Sweep," and Sophia was so nice and gracious to say, "Yeah, I'll sing it." So it's just a brand new tune, and here it is. Here we go.
That was on me.
Sorry about that.
That's on me. Can you hear those feet? They're tapping to the beat. They're listening to the Brushman Sweep. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat. You're never gonna hear that when listening to the Brushman Sweep. Pitter-patter, don't matter. He's swinging around the world. Go swinging, just swinging. Waves brushing all around the world. And you hear that sound. He's swishing all around. You're listening to the Brushman Sweep.
It's all good except it's muted.
Don't matter.
Terrible.
All around the earth. No banging, just swinging. Let the freshman does his freshman work. Oh, yeah, when you hear that beat, they're tapping to the beat. You're listening to the freshman suite. Yeah, you're listening to the freshman suite.
All right. Thank you again, Sophia. We're going to bring Miss James back. We're going to play another tune from the Collective Thinking record, a tune that I wrote called I Hear Ya. You know how you be talking to somebody and it's just like, you know, they got a lot on their mind, trying to get it off their chest. And you say, you know, I hear you. I hear you. So here it is.
All right, funky.
I hear you. So, Greg, how are we doing on time?
Hey, we got all the time in the world. Okay, no. No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, so I'd like to bring Sophia back on, and this time
Okay.
actually do what got in my head the first time for some reason, and then maybe you can open it up for a Q&A, I think.
Absolutely. And why don't you introduce everybody again?
Yes, I will do that. I will do that. Well, first of all, we have Miss Sophia James back with us.
Yeah.
Mr. Paul Cornish taking down those keys. I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. Johnny Valentino over here on all kinds of great guitars, but it's not the suit, it's the man. Yeah. And Mr. Turk, Mr. Turk, Mr. Ahmet Turk Menalou, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And my name is Clayton Cameron, and this
Hey.
is Quartet, and we have our fabulous guest vocalist, Miss Sophia James. And now I'm going to come out front, and we're going to do something that I started before.
I was looking at the set list. I was in a different planet.
Let me try it again.
Say, Clayton, get your drum closer to the mic.
Okay. Stop yelling at me. How's that?
There we go. There. Now we're talking.
All right.
Oh no, it's going out.
I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who could ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures, I got my man who could ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him, you won't find him round my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams, I got my man who could ask for anything more, who could ask for anything more. Oh, man's trouble, I never mind him. You won't find him round my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams. I got my man who could ask for anything more. Who could ask for anything more?
All right, Sophia James on vocals, Mr. Paul Cornish on piano, Mr. Johnny Valentino on guitar, Mr. Ahmet Turkmenoglu on bass. My name is Clayton Cameron, and we'd like to open it up for some Q&A.
All right. Well, the feedback is wonderful. I'm looking at the chats and everyone is digging it, man. It's very nice.
All right, chat on.
So Clayton, do you guys play together a lot?
This is our first time as a group.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Johnny and I have played together, and I've played with everyone except Sophia at one point in time. And but I've seen Sophia's work, and I knew that she, you know, that she could deliver like she did today. So I'm so happy to have her here today.
Oh, it's wonderful. The songs are wonderful, Sophia.
Honored to be here with legends.
So Sophia, are you from here? Are you from LA?
I'm from Long Beach, so technically LA, a little bit outside. Yeah.
So this must have been a great experience. I mean, so I heard that you came in 10th on American Idol.
Yes, somewhere around the top 10 vicinity, if you can believe that. I still can't.
I got you. So what type of songs were you singing? Were you singing pop songs or jazz songs?
Yeah, definitely a lot of pop, kind of rock, alt. Yeah, there wasn't much jazz in that community, but it's really cool to come here and kind of jam out on some good old jazz stuff.
Well, you know, you sound wonderful. I mean, the whole band sounds wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, these guys. Whew.
Oh, yeah, they're wonderful. So, Johnny, I heard you're from Philadelphia.
Yes, don't hold that against me.
Can't you just tell when he talks? Come on, Philly, baby.
Well, I can't, okay, because the mic is so far away, you know, I don't get the accent.
There you go, there you go.
There you go.
This?
Hey, that's perfect.
Oh, man. Yeah, don't hold Philly against me. I'm fine.
No, man. No, it's cool. You're a great player.
For 40 years. I've been out here for 40 years and I haven't lost one bit of the accent. Jeez. Yeah.
Well, we have to hook up sometime. You know, I'm just partial to guitar players.
Sure, anytime. We're actually neighbors, me and Clayton.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We actually met in a pet store looking at both. We talked both of our kids out of getting snakes. And I looked over and I said, "Oh, you Clayton?" He said, "Yeah." And then put that snake down.
Well, we ended up getting this a snake eventually, though.
Yeah, I settled for the bird. So
I got you.
Flew away was $500 and it flew away. So there you go.
I got you. So I'd like to hear from Paul back there. You know, we certainly have been hearing his piano. So Paul, are you from here?
No, sir. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, but I've been out in LA for 7 years now, so kind of feels like home.
I got you. So how's it been for you? You've been busy?
Yeah. Thankfully, yeah. I just finished school, like you said, at Hancock Institute, and it's definitely a weird time to be graduating into. But yeah, grateful to say I'm still here. So
okay, was Clayton one of your teachers?
Not directly, but you know, who can not learn from someone like that being around in the vicinity? So
Oh, don't tell him that. He'll get a big hit, okay? And so Ahmed,
But yeah,
well, a pleasure. Yeah, let's hear from Ahmed.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. So how long have you been in LA?
About 8 or 9 years. I came here in 2012.
I got you. So how's work been for you? How's it? I mean, you're a wonderful player.
Greg, I have a disclaimer here. Most of the time I try to get UCLA people, but he's USC. So
Oh no! Okay, Clayton, you're gonna get letters, man. You're gonna get letters.
you know, the guy's so good, you can I'll overlook it. Try to stick with the Bruins, but
So yeah, Ahmed, how do you feel about playing with crosstown rivals?
Man, it doesn't matter.
All right, that's the right attitude. Very good.
Yeah.
So, Greg, I'd like to tell one story just about Sophia.
Oh, go right ahead.
So years ago, when I was a young lad, I was working with Sammy Davis Jr. And we had the opening act was Leslie Uggams.
Oh yeah.
That name?
So, oh yeah.
So Leslie had, she had a fabulous band, and she had a young drummer with her. He was 18 at the time, and so if you would have asked me what his name was, I wouldn't have remembered, because that same drummer I knew, but I didn't know it was him, years later. And so Chad Wackerman, who's a great drummer, came up to me about 5 years ago or so, and I was playing at the Baked Potato, and he said, "Hey Clayton, I don't know if you remember this, but I met you when I was playing with Leslie Uggams." And I said, "Oh yeah, I remember," but I didn't connect that was Chad Wackerman. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the 18-year-old kid at that time, he was playing with Frank Zappa, and so he had asked Frank Zappa. He said, "Frank, Leslie Uggams wants me to do this gig opening up for Sammy Davis Jr. Would it be okay if I, play the gig?" Mm-hmm. And so, Zappa said to him, "Listen, go play the gig, but you got to get me a picture of Sammy Davis Jr." And so, so Chad called up Leslie and said, "Well, can we get a picture? Because, then I can do the gig." And she said, "Sure." So Chad would tell me, some years ago, he said, "Yeah, I got the picture." And Zappa framed it and prominently put it above his mixing board in his studio. So anyway, so that's her dad, Chad Wackerman, who's a fabulous.
All right. There's pedigree there.
So do we have any questions in the chat room?
Yes. Come on, people. But let's see. Okay, let's see what we've got here.
Questions or comments?
Okay, so here's one question, and it says, and it talks about mentors. So Sophia, I'll put it to you. Who was her biggest mentor?
Oh gosh. Yeah, Mike Cass. Thanks. That's a very complex question, because I've had so many people who have been such gigantic mentors in my life. Right now, one that comes to mind is Luciana Souza. She is my current voice teacher at UCLA, the Global Jazz Studies program, and her approach to teaching is very much a mentorship, and I've really learned a lot in the way that she has taught me and communicated with me and about the craft and about music and how it makes you feel and expression and everything. And so it's been wonderful to have her as a mentor, I would say. So many of the Global Jazz Studies professors, Clayton being one of them, even though I've never actually had a class with, but I'm working on that. I mean, just so many people. Luciana Souza stands out at the moment.
Yes, I understand. I mean, I feel the same way. I feel very fortunate that I was around so many wonderful players and who influenced me just not only from the playing side, but just on how to conduct myself in this crazy business. So, Paul, what about you? Who are your biggest influences? Or what music really influenced you?
Oh, that's a great question. I kind of like Sophia, just like a little bit of everything. I mean, I grew up playing in church, so that's obviously that's just a big influence on me. And
Hmm.
I'd say hearing the music of Monk growing up, and obviously Herbie Hancock was just profoundly, just really impactful. But like you said, also the people that you meet along the way and being
Yeah.
here, just all just plays a part. Mm.
And so, Johnny, I mean, who were you listening to as a young player coming up?
Um, when we all wanted to be Beatles until I saw one night there was a show. It was called Just Jazz, and I heard George Benson play, and they said, "Oh, he'll be there Monday night." So I asked my dad to take me there,
Hmm.
and it was a rainy Monday night. I remember it, and I sat down, and I mean, there must have been about uh, 10 people at tops.
Mm.
And he came in, he put his guitar on a chair. He came up to me, shook my hand. I had no idea. I've only been to rock concerts, so I thought he was the roadie. I had no idea who he was. And then he sat down, and my mind exploded because he wasn't singing at all, and he was just playing. And yeah, I never listened to another rock album again. But really, I had a great mentor. I mean, I lived, believe it or not, I lived in a neighborhood where there was a lot of great guitar players that started with Eddie Lang.
Oh, yeah.
Was the very first jazz guitar player. And of course, I lived down the street from Pat Martino.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
Great.
me and Pat have been best friends since I was like maybe 17 years old.
I got you.
So yeah, I mean but I have many. I studied with Dennis Sindoli, who taught John Coltrane, and I mean there was everybody. When I went to lessons, it would be people from all over. I mean, they drove from DC to or from New York. Everybody would be there playing, and it was a great experience.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of wonderful East Coast guitarists. You know, I was really lucky. My mentor here was Tommy Tedesco, such a great guy. And and I just remember the first time I heard Joe Pass. Yeah, then it was like it was over.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy was, and he was a funny guy.
Oh, very funny guy.
Very funny. Yeah, and Joe DeOrio had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I love Joe's playing, and not just guitar players, but I love classical 20th century music. I studied, so yeah. I mean, if it moves me, I'm in.
Man, we got to hook up. We got to go hook up. Ahmet, so your influences and let's pass it over to Ahmet.
I mean, like, I guess same as everybody, whatever moves me. But growing up in Turkey, I listened and played a lot of Turkish music, which is very melodic and rhythmically rich.
Yes.
But then when I started jazz, listening to jazz and playing jazz, you know, I listened to everybody. Since I went to USC, I have been studying with Darek Oz, so he's a great mentor and great player. But I mean, everybody, not only bass players, piano players, sax players, trumpet players, doesn't matter. Whoever has the heart and the feeling.
Well, yes, that's the key. I mean, that's the key. It's a human experience. Once we're all playing together, it's like, okay, how much of yourself are you investing in that? It's really important.
Yeah, and everybody is different. Everybody finds different things from different people. So it's very personal, I feel like.
Yes, absolutely. You know, when I had Clayton on Sonic Tonic, he told me a great story about the influence of the tap dancers that he worked with. So, Clayton, could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Why don't I just demonstrate it real quick?
Okay, all right.
I'll use that. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I was growing up, I had many influences when I started playing drums. I used to, listen to like the sound of my parents' washing machine and dryer. Every now and then it'd get off balance. And of course, there's people like Papa Joe Jones, Billy Joe Jones, Stenzel Best, Billy Higgins, where I watch them. But when I started working with Sammy Davis Jr., I got a chance to really see how the hoopers, the tap dancers, would do their rhythms, do their steps, their combinations. So when I would listen to Sammy Davis Jr., he would sound something like this. So Sammy had a bunch of buddies that would come and dance with him. One was named Arthur Duncan, who used to dance on the Lawrence Welk Show. And he would come on, and as a kid, Lawrence Welk Show was one of the few variety shows that was on. And so every now and then, Arthur Duncan would come on, and so he would sound something like this. And he had all these acrobatic moves and stuff. And so when I watched him, I tried to emulate him. He sounded something like this. So what I would do is take Sammy Davis Jr. and Arthur Duncan and put them together, and they would sound something like this. And there was a gentleman by the name of Sandman Sims. Now Sandman would come in, he would put sugar or salt on the floor, and he would slide his rhythms. So he would sound something like this. So what I would do is take Sammy Davis Jr., Arthur Duncan, Sandman Sims, and put them together, and they would sound something like this. Then there was a gentleman by the name of Bunny Briggs. Now, Bunny, he had this rapid fire tap. He would barely move his upper body, but his feet is just incredible. So he would sound something like this. So what I would do is take Sammy Davis Jr., Arthur Duncan, Bunny Briggs, put them together. I'm naming somebody out, but you know what I'm talking about. And it would sound something like this. And that's it.
Clayton, killer, 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 killer.
All right, any questions? Are you still there, Gray? Is this thing on?
I'm still there. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm sorry to say some of the sound was going in and out.
Oh, that's too bad.
But so that should be incentive for our audience to just Google you and follow your career, because in terms of drummers and just um, your amazing ability with the brushes, we spoke about this on Sonic Tonic. Everyone should experience that. You're pretty remarkable.
Thank you.
You are pretty remarkable. Everyone's given the amen nod. So yes, we can wrap it up now. I mean, guys, is there anything you want to say in closing?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the band. I mean, it's just been fabulous. Sophia has a new record that she's working on coming out. Any project you're working on, Paul? Something you got coming out? Not yet. It's going to be happening. What about you, Amit? Anything coming out? Yeah, he's got a new project coming up. Johnny and I are releasing a record for a group we have called Collective Thinking, which will be coming out in June. So look out for that. And, you know, we're just happy to be here. And don't forget about the California Jazz Foundation Gala on June 6th. And it helps, you know, jazz musicians who live here in California that are in a crisis. And it happens, and you know, nothing like has happened like this before with COVID. So things are happening exponentially. So if you can, you know, find it in your heart to help out, thank you so much. So Greg, thank you for hosting this, and we hope to see you all live
And in person. Yeah. So on the note of the gala, I would like to also add that some of the featured artists at that gala on June the 6th will be John and Gerald Clayton, Russ Ferrante, Darren Dean, Scott Tixier, Peter Erskine. It's going to be hosted by Leroy Downs with a special guest appearance by Alonzo Bowden. So please, you guys need to save that date, June the 6th. Give the band a hand honoring Tim Jackson and Horace Silver. So, you know, regarding music, a lot of people oftentimes say that a style is dead, or that we don't play music like that anymore. But I always feel that anything that's good never dies. And I just want to applaud all of you for carrying that banner of what is good, what is creative, what is imaginative, and who you are and what you do will last forever. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this applause.
Thank you.
All right.
Also, before I leave, though, I would also like to thank our technical team, Cher Lilico and Avita. Thank you so much for helping making this happen.
Yeah, and right here in the studio, we have Dale Atkins and Roderick, last name Roderick Swain. Yes, Roderick Swain. So they've done a fabulous job, and we're glad that we could have them. And this fabulous studio that we're coming from is the home of our dear friend and musician and entrepreneur, extraordinary person all the way around, Mr. Alan Goldman. So we want to thank Alan for having us in his home. You know, so one of the best clubs in LA.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. I want to thank our audience for supporting us, the California Jazz Foundation. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay happy, listen to live music and support live music.
And thank you, Greg.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
I don't know if they can hear, but hi, Dad.
Thanks, Clayton.
Sorry, we don't have another night tomorrow night. You're not coming back.
So what time's the bus leave?